So last year I picked up this Adventure Force Allosaurus figure at Walmart for the sole purpose of using it one day in a custom video because the sculpt on it actually looks really cool and it's got some great parts that can be used, in a hybrid or whatever. And that's where this video sort of came from, the idea of the Godzillasaurus hybrid that I have been seeing. A lot of people have been doing some fan art over on Instagram of it, and that sort of inspired this video. So I had to get some Godzilla parts to start with, and I didn't have any on hand, so I had to go to Walmart and get the Playmates Godzilla versus King Kong figure here. Yeah, I know Godzilla is a huge monster, but we're going to keep this one sort of a mid-size predator for the sake of space. But I popped that figure apart and started kitbashing parts together just to sort of see what would fit. Of course, the Allosaurus, Adventure Force Allosaurus head, and then I used some Mattel Battle at Big Rock Allosaurus legs. This was from a failed repaint that I was going to do, and went ahead and just popped them off, and then used the engineering of the articulation on the Godzilla figure, sort of incorporated that into this custom. So I actually took the disc joints off of the legs from the Godzilla and put them on the Allosaurus legs, and then I cut the hands off of the arms of the Godzilla, and then I just sculpted some forearms on there and attached the Allosaurus hands to it, and then used the same disc joint for the head that was on Godzilla just to attach the Allosaurus head. That kind of gets all the parts fitting together. That way I can get everything glued together and start sculpting, using the epoxy putty to start blending all the parts together in the neck area, kind of using the 98 Godzilla as inspiration, because he sort of has like that reptilian, like iguana neck thing going on. So I kind of wanted to incorporate that a little bit into this thing, because this is really just sort of a hybrid of traditional Godzilla, 98 Godzilla, and Jurassic Park, Jurassic World dinosaurs. So towards the end of sculpting, I decided to whip out the secret Rule of Cool weapon and make some translucent spikes to stick into the epoxy putty here on the shoulders, so he could have some really big sort of shoulder spikes sticking out. Just sort of take it to the next level and increase that menacing vibe that I'm going for with this thing. But that's pretty much it for the build and the sculpting process of this. It's not super interesting, but this is pretty much what I've come up with. All the parts are smashed together, everything is glued together, and ready to start slinging some paint on this thing. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So as far as paint deco and design goes, I really wasn't sure at first what I wanted this thing to look like. So my main focus right off the bat was to get it all painted in matte black. That way I had a nice blank canvas to build off of. For the underside, I decided to go with a nice light gray color, and I'm going to put that on the lower jaw and on the neck area, and then I'm going to take a fine tip brush and wash it in between all the little sculpted details in the cracks, kind of tying the black and the gray together, and then I'll take the airbrush and finish things off on the underside. Now I'm going to throw a nice bright blue into the airbrush and build up the ridges on top of the head. Now we're going to make things interesting and dry brush a layer of Color Shift Blue Flash on the underside, hitting all those raised areas. Now I'm going to take some metallic blue paint, thin it down with a little bit of water, take a fine tip brush and wash it in between all the little sculpted details on the back of the neck area. And then I'll finish it all off with a final matte black dry brushing, going over all the raised areas again. This is going to clean everything up and tie everything together. I'm going to jump back over to the airbrush real quick and get some of that sky blue on the back here. I'm going to tie in the tail and blend it in to the translucent plastic spikes that are on the back, just so it's a seamless transition from the solid plastic to the clear plastic. And then take a nice little paintbrush here and grab some of that sky blue and paint these little spikes on the back part of the head. Alright, we are at the home stretch, so I have the shoulder spikes glued into place, and all that's left to do is finish off all the little tiny finer details all over this thing, like painting the inside of the mouth. For that, I'm going to be using Model Master's basic flesh tone for that. A couple coats should do the job. I'm going to paint the eyeball red, and I'm going to give it a nice yellow pupil to give it that menacing look. I'm going to throw down a coat of Reichland Flesh Shade from Citadel inside the mouth. And I have the toenails painted in the Citadel bone color. And I'm going to go ahead and bust out the secret weapon, the transparent burnt umber, shoot it through the airbrush, and we're going to darken these claws up really, really dark so they're a nice, rich burnt umber color. And I'm going to go ahead and seal this thing up with a couple of coats of matte varnish to lock everything in, and this guy is done. So that's going to do it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You found the information provided useful, and it's helped inspire you in some way, shape, or form to get out there and be creative and create your own hybrid Godzillasaurus. If it has, and you do this custom, remember to tag me over on Instagram at @TedBrothers. I love seeing the work that you guys come up with. Remember, for more Jurassic Park related content, you know where to find me. Links will be in the description box below. You guys take care, and I will see you in the next video.